Fendi like the bag. This is the I Refuse podcast. She said, let me start with your mama. And then continue to proceed to drag that man's mama in the first verse of the song. Wow. What up, everybody? This is Mr. Fox of the I Refuse podcast. It is great to be back. You know, as we build season 3 of the podcast on streaming platforms. Now, I feel like I'm going to space out videos on the YouTube channel and see where I land, by the end of the year. So I had a chance to listen to Summer Walker's album, not once, not twice, not 3, not 4 times, but 5 times since it came out last Friday. And while I went into it, the first listen, I was like, okay, where are we going with this? But you know how you put an album on, started playing it on your laptop, and you're working from home like I am, or you're doing other things, and you're like, okay. At first I was like, the first 3 or 4 songs, I'm like, okay, where is this going? I skipped over X for a reason, because it was very much giving me Kids Bop when I first heard it. But bitch, the second time I played it, the shit hit different. And I was like, oh, wow. When I tell you, like, the first 11 songs, prime R&B, even though the first track says it's narrated by Cardi B, it's essentially a full song, and then I guess she tacked on Cardi B's voicemail or whatever at the end. I was like, okay. It would have been nice if Cardi B was throughout the track. Because I kind of feel like when it comes to Ain't Shit Niggas, Cardi B should be on the opening track of the album, like, throughout. But that's cool. Then I went into, I skipped over X for a reason. It was cute. I think the second time I let it play through, and I was like, okay, it's growing on me. But then, I played the third track. And I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. I saw something a couple of weeks ago from Summer Walker. It was a picture of her and SZA looked like in a dance studio, and I was like, okay, what is this giving me? What's happening here? Because of the new breed of the girls, Janae Aiko, Summer Walker, SZA, what's the other girl? Kaylani, Alina Perez, Kiana Lede. SZA struck me first. Almost 5 years ago when Control came out, and then before that when Z came out in 2014, I was like, okay, I rocks with her. Like, I'm still listening to Control to this day, and I'm still sick over the fact that we didn't get a sophomore album this year. But I'm like, okay, what's SZA gonna do? And I played No Love, and I was like, okay. Now, granted, like y'all, the first listen, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck she's saying, but I'm with it. Like, SZA is very versatile. Like, you can put her on any track with any person. She's gonna knock it out the park. Then I got to Throw It Away. I was like, all right. I started to see a lot of myself at this point in the album. I haven't felt this connected to a female R&B album about heartbreak, disappointment, abandonment, frustration since Keisha Cole's second album back in 2007. When you want to talk about an album of no skips, I'm just like you. I no words. So you get to throw it away. And now, granted, if you're looking for like full 4 minute, 4.5 minute songs, or you know extended versions of songs on this album, you're not gonna get it. The longest song that's on here is the Omarion song, which is cute. I put it up there with like the Miguel and Janelle Monáe song, Prime Time. Um, like I'm glad to see Omarion is on more music these days, or I guess he picks and chooses. Because for a while now, Omarion's been more well known about, vicariously through the B2K situation, the April situation, and that stupid ass crossing guard dance that he was doing on one of his tour dates. So for me, like going from Bitter, which is the first song, down to Unloyal, which I didn't know what Ari when Lennox and Summer Walker was going to give us, but that burns, that slaps. Um, Throw it away, reciprocate. You don't know me. Good. At that point, it started to get a little ballad heavy, slow tempo, whatever. Circus and Insane. I was like, all right, it's lyrically. I think, out of all the songs, including Fourth Baby Mama, I saw a lot of myself in those songs. Um, this is very much. I can see some Brandy influence. I can see some Janet influence as far as vocal production and laying the backgrounds together. Very much standard Summer Walker, but it's what she's doing with the music and the production. And this is very much lyrically an album about a woman that has been put through it, with these moments where she's dragging the dude that put her through it, as R&B should. Because this is rhythm and blues right here, and I'm here for it. Last month when I did a video about Summer Walker's IG moments, I was like, okay, this album is going to bang, and she surely did not disappoint. I really feel like she'll have more singles off of this one, like actual video treatment to some of the songs this more going around. And I feel like Unloyal should be the next single. Constant bullshit I live for. It was around that point that I was like, okay, this is giving me what I need. Closure, and then Toxic. Cox is really good. That's another standout for me. I want to say I would kind of skip over Throw It Away. Reciprocate, I love. It kind of gives me some of the early 90s girl group kind of flavor to it. Same goes for You Don't Know Me. I like the beat pattern of that. Circus. Like this album, I feel like she's expanding on her vocals. Like her range is showing that more, while still staying very true to the Summer Walker sound, where you're not gonna get like a belt out of it, like her belting and her going real crazy. that insane lead in. Nah, shit. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. That shit. Constant bullshit. Like, if I think back to Just Like You, constant bullshit kind of reminds me of Gotta Get My Heart Back. I mean, dare I say, Still Over It is kind of like a modern day My Life album. Like, damn, London on the Track. God damn. Like, fuck. Oh, I was almost on his side. Like, when I saw some of his responses on IG about a month ago, I was like, I mean, I think it's tacky as hell to be going back and forth on social media anyway, but to do it over some material shit, even more tacky. And it's like, you have, up to 4, maybe 5 baby mamas now. And you have a kid, about 5, maybe 6 different kids by different baby mothers. But, I have my favorites from this album. That right there, I don't know if it's like the placing of it on where it is on the album, but that threw me off. But I can understand, like, maybe the label put her up to working with the Neptunes. I mean, and quiet as it's kept, not everything the Neptunes does is banging. Screwing, I like. I love, male and female duets, ballads. Toxic should be another single. Broken Promises and Session 33. Okay. Fourth Baby Mama, who's the guy that's singing on that? I mean, is he part of Love Renaissance or what? Bitch. But Fourth Baby Mama? So I ran through the credits on Wikipedia, going in thinking there's no way possible that London on the Track is part of this album. But to know he is listed as a producer and a writer for most of the album. Now, I thought, okay, he's behind the boards listening to this, or he's listening to the songs before it's sent to mastering or some kind of shit like that. Because I'm like, this is very much giving me Dina in the second half of Dreamgirls singing Listen to Curtis as he stands behind the glass. Like, I got that whole visual played throughout my mind while listening to this album. But bitch, Fourth Baby Mama, she done dragged this man's mama, which I find justified because the fruit is not far from the tree. This man's talent and work ethic as a producer. You talking about you working, but the niggas tell me they're the ones doing the beats. So how the fuck does that add up? She done talked about the fact that his mama babysit his kids, how he's trying to keep up with the thugs, and the stereotype that comes with it. The fact that you don't do your own beats. Like, I see why they put this at the end of the album. Coup de grace, like, gut this motherfucker. And to end the album with Sierra's Prayer, that's good for a lot of reasons. First of all, Sierra dated, persevered, and survived being with a man just as toxic and just as thuggish and just as stereotypical, and came out with a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So that was perfect to have her, of all people, to close the album. But FYI to the women out here that are listening to this album, don't cite Sierra's Prayer when you are sitting right next to an ancient man. Some people are like, fuck Sierra's Prayer. What's Eve's Prayer? The current generation right now probably wouldn't understand what the fuck I'm talking about. But for those of us that are mid to late 30s, just Google Eve's dating history, specifically surviving Stevie J. Perfect segue into my next part of my video. So I'm sure you've seen that Stevie J has filed for divorce from Faith Evans. A, the audacity. B, given what I've seen of Stevie J on television, I'm sure he did it because he couldn't control Faith Evans. Haven't been one of many people that have read Faith Evans' memoir. Oh, it's really good. And with consideration to how about it Faith Evans is, she may be less about it now because she's gotten older and she has kids and she's a big name. But she's still Jersey to the bone. I wouldn't be surprised. And at this point, I feel like whatever reaction she has is perfectly justifiable. Even given the fact that, she dated and married Biggie, allegedly serial cheater. But you know what? I'm loving this for Faith because allegedly Stevie J is the reason why China moved out of the parental home. Because allegedly Stevie was trying to make the moves on China. Allegedly. So I love this for Faith. A lot of people didn't see it for them. For a lot of reasons, more so reasons against Stevie J, because who doesn't watch Love and Hip Hop Atlanta? But, this would be Stevie's first marriage and first divorce. You're a fool if you actually think he was actually married to Jocelyn. But good for her. Run anime run. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then, the Travis Scott Festival, Astro World Festival. First of all, why are we still having events for an album that's, almost 3 years old? Secondly, there were different clips, myself trying not to be one of the simple-minded, to jump on the bandwagon and, form an opinion of scattered clips and come out just aimed at, being anti-Travis Scott. I can say that having been to a Travis Scott concert, I actually saw him open up for Rihanna on her anti-tour, which was almost 6 years ago. Um, that energy, yeah, you're going to get that at Travis Scott concert. But it's almost like, it's got to the point where people are petitioning to have him removed from a future festival. He's been removed from Fortnite, his character. Um, and of course, all the insurance stuff and civil suits and all that stuff, all of which is justifiable. Um, but it was interesting that, people forgot, in addition, about the person with the needle. Um, no, it was confirmed yesterday, allegedly. Oh, no, it's not alleged because the Houston Police Department went on the mic and said that there was a person going around with a syringe and injecting people. It's alleged that it was a particular substance that is lethal, and that one of the guards allegedly was injected in the neck with the syringe and needed to be resuscitated, allegedly. Um, I totally agree that the promoters and the supporters and Travis Scott especially should be held liable for that, for the entire debacle, especially considering that Travis Scott allegedly was warned before the festival that particular day about the dangers and the amount of people and all the safety concerns. But I will say that, a little critical thinking goes a long way. You know, the man's on stage is not going to hear you chanting through the sounds of like 50,000 other people. And like ambushing cameramen, self calling the cops. Like, what's the cameraman going to do? You know what I mean? My heart goes out to the 9 people that lost their lives, and to the countless others that have ended up hospitalized, injured. Um, it's just wild. So we just had Halloween. We just had Halloween. What was that, last weekend? And I love a good costume based on a meme. I've seen some really good ones. I've seen people recreate Friday the movie, and I've seen like people do Blue's Clues. The Velma from Scooby Doo. The Spider-Man, multiple Spider-Mans pointing at each other meme was pretty good. But bitch. And I expected nothing less from this man. Cisco and his family did a full-fledged Mortal Kombat cosplay costume thing with the Mortal Kombat background and Mortal Kombat screen with the health bars and the characters' names. Like what was that, the gravel pit stage? I believe he's dressed like Raiden and his wife is dressed like Katana, and his kids are dressed like, I believe, Baraka and Liu Kang. I said I expected nothing less from Cisco, because this is the same man that at just about every live Drew Hill performance was known to stop, drop, and roll into the center of the stage before he started singing. Like, I expect nothing less from a fellow Baltimore native, and I believe they still live in Randallstown. I'm not sure, but the all-out creativity, I live for it. Be sure to catch I Refuse podcast. Season 3 is available on all streaming platforms. The information will be over here. And y'all be sure to follow and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll try to keep up with this as much as I can. A little bit more than once a month, like other podcasts. So yeah, this is Mr. Fox, the I Refuse podcast, and we will see you guys later. Peace out.